So I'm Paul Robbins, and I'm the director of the Nelson Institute for Environmental Studies. And what that means is I run the institute, but I also sort of represent it on campus and around. But I would say sustainability is meeting the needs of the present without compromising the needs of the future, of future generations and Earth systems. One thing that sustainability embraces but doesn't name, and could name better, for example, is environmental justice, right? And then there are words like innovation, which are kind of exciting. And those are kind of in sustainability, but right, it's much more precise. Like, what's the role of technology and what's the role of social innovation, different kinds of social relationships? That could be named better. And sustainability, sure, captures all that, but only in the most vague way. Interesting things about sustainability or environmental quality of life or environmental justice or environmental economics or environmental politics, all those specific things, that is interesting, is that there's a generation of people around the world who are energized by it, and it leads them to other kinds of things in their lives. And the campus really lets those bloom and gives them space and helps them integrate with campus. So that's one thing that's really big. The point is, out of all the campuses I've been on, this is the one where the students seem to be, either through self-direction or through great programs like our environmental studies program, or there's a new sustainability undergraduate certificate that you can take. Those students are really engaged in thinking about how they relate to Earth systems. So whether that's like the new residence learning community, the greenhouse group, or whether that's, again, the slow food group, that was totally student evolved. Sure. I think it does really well. The second thing it does for sustainability is it has its own program in sustainability, right, out of facilities. So they've really brought down and streamlined heating and cooling systems. They've retrofitted buildings. Building is exciting. Okay. So what's sustainable about it is, one, it has a lot of the kind of great features that you see in a sustainable building. You know, the geothermal components. There's the windows open and shut. You know, the buildings that you're in, like social sciences, built in the 1960s, you can't get the windows open, or you get them open and they leak. So just the basic features are sustainable. But the cool part about WID that is totally awesome is that it's self-monitoring. It's smart, right? So the building's taking its own temperature. It's taking a look at heat exchange. It's monitoring itself in real time, producing data that it then self-adjusts, and that data is then available for people to kind of study and examine how buildings behave in environmental conditions. And that produces all kinds of efficiencies, and you learn a lot. There's a lot of really interesting engineering that you can kind of learn with a building like that as an experimental lab. So I think that's a stellar example. Overall, energy efficiency, things like that have improved enormously. That's usually where people kind of focus their energy. Recycling, you know, keeping alive, a lot of conservation initiatives like that. And I think that's good. And I think that that's stuff people should do. But I think they should also think bigger. And that is where I think students on campus could stretch even further. Because I think a lot of what they're doing in their daily lives has really been revolutionized. When we were growing up, again, when I went to school here in the 80s, there weren't even recycling bins. So that's really good. But I think stepping up to the higher level to think about how a lot of things are out of their control, their immediate control, right? What's the energy source? What are the major energy sources for the state of Wisconsin? Where's the energy coming from? Like the larger kinds of circulations, political and economic things that set the conditions under which the students operate. Those seem really daunting and far away, but those are the ones that have a lot of levers. You know, you pull on those levers and you can make a lot of change.
So if we have enough time